What's up, guys? CJ here, and welcome to another all-new episode of the Superfriends podcast, brought to you today
broadcast.
by... What?
The Superfriends broadcast.
Superfriends broadcast? The broadcast podcast? We're broadcasting technically just on like a 3-day tape delay.
Yeah.
This is a good
back to
opening.
what I was doing.
I like this.
Brought to you by Loot Crate.
Whoa!
If you haven't heard of Loot Crate, it's this awesome, incredible subscription service. They send you this cool, crazy box of goodies, like literally every month. And they've got each box every month has a unique theme, and every item in the box relates to it. I know last month's theme was horror. They had stuff from like The Walking Dead, cool Halloween movies like Halloween, but yes. Also, this month is magical, so they've got Doctor Strange stuff, Fantastic Beasts. You can get yours today for even cheaper than it already is.
What?
Just by going to our exclusive link, www.trylootcrate.com/hybrid network. And once you're there, use the promo code BRIDGE10 and get those savings. And how are you guys doing today? How are you guys feeling? I don't want to do
No intro.
Oh, you're right. Oh my God.
Stories.
Stop
now.
talking about your lives.
Start the podcast over.
I wasn't on last episode, and that's how I forgot. But really quickly, what is this? 54?
55.
I don't
think
know.
It's 55.
55. That's what I was gonna say. I had matured so much and stopped doing that bit for the one episode, and now we're back to normal. Of course, I'm joined as always with our normal guests, our regulars, Luke and Nick and Tim, who is our first-time podcaster. I had to bring it back because I brought the other bit back.
Yeah. We're finally all on a podcast since coming back from hiatus.
Yes. The four
Wait, hang
horsemen.
on, I gotta go. You guys
Okay, bye, Nick. He was here for a sec.
Balrog
has left the
we
building.
We were all in the same episode. But no, yeah, we've got the four horsemen, the four kings, whatever you want.
Four heavenly kings.
Four heavenly
kings, baby. I guess I'm technically M. Bison.
I got
that's what we were
Sagat.
debating earlier.
We established this beforehand. Tim is Sagat, I am Vega, and Nick has to be Balrog.
Balrog. All right, I'm cool being M. Bison, but it makes sense that I'm hosting then, even though that was like in doubt, but it kind of all lined up. But we have a bunch of cool stuff to talk about today. It's funny, when we were meeting on Sunday and planning this podcast out, literally just a day ago, we were like, what can we even talk about? And we came up with a couple of things, and now we have even more to talk about. And we're just going to get right down to it right off the bat with maybe the biggest news of the week. Young Justice, guys. We did it. I say that like we had a hand in deciding to bring it back. But really, guys, pat yourselves on the back. If you ever tweeted something out about it, about wanting it, if you ever made like a Facebook post or something like that, or even just talked to people on the street, man, you kept the hope alive, you kept the dream alive, and now it's back. They heard us, they answered our
And question why you've never done this with anything else.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. I see people have done like Firefly, but Firefly existed before Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, Firefly, briefly.
No, I got Young Justice back because I talked to someone on the street about it.
You did. Nick.
That hobo had a lot of clout.
That sent it over the edge. That was the one more person we needed.
It was like a Thor Ragnarok situation. Sam Register was on the street hiding out as a hobo. He had amnesia, and Nick like gave him a sandwich, and like Sam remembered, you know.
He remembered everything.
When his sons Thor and Loki freed him. No, okay, what the now we're getting into Marvel shit. Let's just. Young Justice Season 3 is happening. They're returning the producers from the original show. It's coming soon. They released a pretty cool first poster, which you're probably seeing a little bit of if you're looking at the screen, in that little box that that indicates that we're talking about this topic now. And there'll probably be a link somewhere. I'll put a link in the comment section. But really, other than that, we don't know much. Sam Register, of course, the president of DC and Warner Brothers Animation Division, did confirm that this was because there was a lot of fan movement for it. So, like I said, pat yourself on the back. But right now, we still have more questions than answers. The only question that we have answered is, yeah, it's coming back. It's happening. I'm so incredibly excited about this news, but we have a couple of things to sort out. And kind of my first question to you guys is, what was your initial reaction to hearing this? Luke, did you... I know Tim's gonna have a different answer, so I'm kind of saving him for last. But Luke, what were your thoughts and feelings?
Surprised. I thought that this was fake when I read the headlines. I thought someone just made this up, and I read through. It was like, oh wow, they actually did it. So I mean,
exactly.
this just tells me I should probably finish season 2.
Do it. Do it. That was kind of the hardest thing is you finish season 2 and it leaves you definitely like on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, and now I don't have to worry about that.
Now you don't have to worry about that. Now it's coming back, unless something terrible happens, and now it doesn't. But since now you
the producers leave over creative differences. With,
and then Greg Wiseman blew up.
Don't you? Yeah. And then it wasn't coming back. Nick, what did you think about this move?
I haven't seen Young Justice, so no comment.
No, Tim. Tim, I'm going to go to you because I know you're going to say something that'll get the people riled up.
Not going to rile them too much, I don't think. It's just that I don't really care.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
like the show when I watched
there.
it. Yeah, and I said this like back before we went on break when we talked about it then. So I really had no interest in it coming back.
So, I mean, I was going to say, so you just didn't like it? But yeah, I mean, I respect that opinion. It's definitely not for everyone. I didn't like it at first. I felt like once they got into the whole, like, the Reach storyline and stuff like that, it really, really started to get interesting. And I kind of went back and, of course, rewatched it when it was on Netflix. I'm really happy. At least in no small part thanks to the fact that this is, a fan movement that brought it back. But another one of those things that kind of, another one of those questions that even that raises is when it comes back, where will it be? Something that all of the articles announcing its return made very clear is that we don't know what network it's coming back on. Just that it's back in development. So, of course, returning to Cartoon Network is a possibility, but because that's maybe geared toward a younger audience and toy sales might still not be great, maybe that casts a little doubt on that. It could be Netflix. There was rumors of a Netflix pickup and a Netflix spinoff. It definitely would probably bring people in, as Young Justice Season 1 and Season 2 are already on Netflix. Another option, which somebody pointed out in the comment section, which I kind of find myself a little more attracted to, potentially Adult Swim, because Adult Swim is now the home of the Samurai Jack reboot that's coming out very, very soon, actually. So, who knows? There are a couple of options there. Out of those three...
It's going to be on that Paramount-owned channel that the new Star Trek series is going to be on. Pay to watch.
Plus or whatever it is.
PBS.
PBS. The British Broadcasting Company.
It's gonna be on ABC.
To you in part by viewers like you.
Luke, I was going to say Freeform. I'm glad you did. But out of those three options, out of returning to Cartoon Network, Netflix, and Adult Swim, Tim, which would you prefer if you had to pick?
If I had to,
I'm mugging you. I've got your wrist. I have all the control in the situation.
The show's fate is in your hands, Tim.
I guess I'd want it to be on Toonami just to see how insane the fan base is to stay up that late to watch it.
That's another thing is Adult Swim and Toonami are both. Well, at Adult Swim, I don't really know about Toonami, but I mean they're pretty good about putting episodes of things online. At least for certain shows, their original shows, which I guess this would kind of.
Well, just because I'm pretty sure Samurai Jack is returning to Toonami on Adult Swim.
Yeah, so it would be interesting to see if they put it online. I think it would still get kind of some online views there. Even though, dude, Adult Swim is one of the major things that I watch. But Luke, if you had to pick Cartoon Network, Netflix, or Adult Swim, what would your choice be?
Probably not Cartoon Network. I can see the same thing happening to it again. So Toonami, I guess, but that seems kind of weird in terms of the actual story content. Doesn't really seem to gel with the other stuff. Like Samurai Jack, I can see it's a little more.
And it's going to be more.
Toonami started out having a mixture of Eastern and Western shows on it.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about like the actual
the
content, like in terms of adult themes or whatever. Like I just don't see how Young Justice fits on Toonami. So I guess Netflix. But I mean, I don't know.
True, potentially. Nick, any preference? Any gun to your head? I'm mugging you.
I'm gonna assume it's gonna be Netflix because their audience is clearly adult for a kids show, and also because you can binge the whole thing at once.
True.
Like
that'd be really interesting.
It also, plus the whole, there's like less risk, I think, if it's on Netflix because there's no toy whatever driving it. But
yeah, I agree with you. And Netflix, it kind of fits Netflix's pattern where they want to move to having mostly original content and original shows in the future. It definitely would gel with that there because they can pick it up and then call it like a Netflix original or a Netflix exclusive. The one thing that I would say, like where I'm kind of like maybe it is in Netflix, like as of right now, is I feel like Netflix would have been way out ahead of this and been part of that announcement and said, yeah, it's coming to Netflix, guys. Like I feel like they would have been way on top of it because usually they really are, which is so really a big question there.
Oh shit! It's going to Crackle then.
It's going to Crackle. There you go. Oh god.
To be fair, it wouldn't feel like Young Justice if you could binge watch it. It has to take at least a year and a half to get through 18 episodes.
That's true. That's true. It does. So maybe it is going to go to Cartoon Network because that seems to be their production model now too. Still waiting on Steven Universe coming back.
Yeah, every episode. This just in. Every episode is 10 minutes long. What?
God damn it. All right. You're killing me. Any particular story? Well, I was going to ask, one of my questions that I was thinking of before we started was like, what do you kind of want to see out of season 3? But Luke, is there anything? Because Tim doesn't really care and Nick doesn't really watch it. Luke, anything you kind of want to see in particular, or just kind of a continuation of that Reach storyline?
I had heard that Darkseid was supposed to be in season 3, so that would be cool. I really like Darkseid, so I can't really think of anything else that they would do, because it seems like a lot of the stuff they do on that show is kind of original.
Yeah, and I agree. That's definitely a good option. It kind of seems like that's where they were going in season 2 before they finished. It was kind of all that conspiracy that was going to lead up to that. Moving on to our next topic, something that I trust all of you have seen, the Wonder Woman trailer. Oh jeez.
Oh jeez.
Oh my god.
Here we go. Get ready. The Wonder Woman trailer dropped last Thursday, and I personally really liked what I saw from it. It kind of definitely showed off a little more of the tone they're going for, lots more of the Wonder Woman World War I setting, and we got a lot more of a look, I should say, at Themyscira, which was one of the things that I really, really wanted, but I still want more. I guess I'll just go ahead and ask, what were your thoughts in general on the trailer? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did it do anything to sway your opinion of the movie? Nick, start with you.
So I actually did like the Comic-Con trailer that came out, but I didn't like this one for a couple reasons. One, I didn't like the music choice in this trailer. Two, it got me worried towards the later half of the trailer when they got into that whole CGI mess of like action stuff, like really overtly CG stuff, because it reminded me of like the BVS fight and all that. Also, this trailer is revealing more that Gal Gadot is going to have to carry this movie, and I'm like, ooh, jeez. So
I'm kind of hopeful that Gal Gadot can do it. And she does have a pretty good supporting cast around her with Chris Pine, and especially like all of the people involved in the Themyscira side, I think, are really stellar. So that's why I'm kind of hoping Themyscira will be pretty heavily involved, at least for the first third or half of the movie. From Connie Nielsen to Robin Wright, they've just assembled a spectacular cast for that part of Wonder Woman's story. Luke, any thoughts on this Wonder Woman trailer?
I am actually kind of with Nick. I really like the Comic-Con one. This one is fine. It doesn't really elevate my expectations, though. But I will say this: the more I hear about Gal Gadot, the more I hear her talk in these trailers, the more I think, because everything she said, and I don't know. Look, I might get some hate for this, but everything
you copied me.
Everything she says in this trailer sounds like the exact same tone and inflection of voice. Like there's no change in anything like what she's saying. So I don't know. Makes me a little worried about that.
Let's go to what's behind door number 3. Tim?
All right.
Any thoughts?
So I think I said back after the Comic-Con trailer that I just didn't really feel that trailer that much. I kind of have the same reaction after seeing this one. Like I saw that they like upped like the color contrast on like her suit in some scenes, but then like most of the scenes in battle still have the grayscale on them, so it's like a weird lighting shift.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
But other than that, I kind of have the same thoughts about Gal Gadot. She sounded fine in some of the lines she said in the trailer. Other ones were really flat, so I don't really know how well that's going to carry over into the movie. Hopefully it does it for the better, and we got to see more of Steve Trevor, what his character's like in this movie. We get his mission, we see other scenes of him. outside of just reacting to what Wonder Woman is saying and doing. And it seems pretty solid on Steve's part. He doesn't seem like he's just playing Kirk again.
True.
Right.
Thank God. No, I am really interested in the movie. I think I definitely liked this trailer more than the Comic-Con one, partially because this was a little more of like a story trailer, I guess is what you would call it. And we also got to see a little more of the villains, kind of maybe a confirmation that we're going to get the Dr. Poison as one of them, which makes sense given Wonder Woman, given World War One and the chemical warfare, Duke of Deception, or potentially other, but it definitely seems like it's going to be at least a demigod because he was getting thrown around and fighting with swords and whatnot. I get the concerns about Gal Gadot, but I'm still really interested. I think she was really one of the highlights of Batman v Superman for me, and I don't know. I do have some questions about her carrying the whole movie, but I think Chris Pine is going to be involved a lot. Like I said, the cast for Themyscira just looks great.
Don't forget Etta Candy. How ingrained she'll be in that movie.
Oh yeah. But,
what's she there for?
Yeah, she's there for the British comedic relief.
Oh boy.
She's there for the British audience.
Oh yes. But no, so I was going to ask...
She's there for fans of festive hats.
There's no kid there for the kid appeal.
Yeah,
I
guess Etta
backwards
can
hat.
fill that role.
I was going to
looks
ask,
like a child.
was there any kind of like defining moment in the trailer for you guys that stood out? Maybe a favorite moment? For any of you guys? Luke, any?
I guess just the thing. I don't know. I really like the way Themyscira looks. It's very bright and colorful. And
I liked when there was color.
Just to what Tim said, when they do the action sequences and they're all muted and stuff, I kind of take that as, again, it's more of man's world is a lot more grim and dim than Themyscira is.
Yeah. Tim, any big moments that jumped out to you?
Honestly, not really too much. The only thing I could say is that the trailer opens with her in the present flashing back to this, which I just thought the whole thing was going to be in the past. So that stood out.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see if that was kind of maybe a little preview of what the plot structure is going to be. If it is actually like her just flashing back to the past, or potentially if we're going to start out in the past and then fast forward to the present. It definitely seems like it could go either way. That's a really interesting point that you made. Nick, any big moments or just the use of color in general?
I like when my theory was right about the villains.
True, that was hats off to you, man. You called that.
Yeah.
Duke of Deception. It's going to be really interesting to see him too, because really my only experience with that actor is X-Men Origins Wolverine.
He was great in that.
He was good, yeah. But the whole movie, just the movie as a whole, I've tried to block out of my memory completely.
He's probably one of the only good things I like about that movie.
And just a quick congrats to Gal Gadot for having her, or not having her second child, but expecting her second child. I was originally going to, when we heard about that, I was kind of anticipating talking about that and how it might affect the DCEU on here. But honestly, I don't think it really will. They've just wrapped up filming Justice League. No word on a Wonder Woman sequel, and she's not currently slated to be in any movies until Justice League 2. And seeing as that's kind of now a little open-ended, not really going to come out in, I think 2018 was their plan, or 2019.
2019, because I think they were doing the 2-year gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even if it was 2019, it was probably going to start filming in 2018 at some point. And she will definitely have had the baby by then. So congrats, and if you're a fan that's worried about that affecting anything in the DCEU, don't be. Moving on to our next, sticking in the DCEU, moving on to our next topic, and speaking of Justice League, which we just talked about.
No.
Look, do you guys want to get like 1,000 dislikes on this video?
Yes.
Just keep it up, buddies.
Stop, Lurk.
I was going to say, like, if you guys complain every time you get 1,000 dislikes, and we can keep booing if we want.
It's all Lurk's
I'm just saying.
fault.
What? It's not my fault.
Children, please. All right, so the Justice League movie has finally revealed, interestingly, after they've stopped filming, who the villain of the film is going to be officially, even though we kind of had an idea. And they also revealed officially who is going to be playing that villain. It's going to be Kieran Hines, who you might know from great movies like The Sum of All Fears.
And Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
And Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
Yes.
He was Caesar.
He was,
right?
He was,
think he...
I know he played Mance Rayder in Game of Thrones, which was when I first saw pictures of I've read those books, and when he was not what I thought of when I thought of Mance Rayder, but he definitely played the role well. But he will be playing Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf, the kind of top general of Darkseid, and they've confirmed that he'll be he'll be providing the voice, I think, and mocap. So it'll be a CG villain that will not look like he looked in that Communion deleted scene that we probably have all seen now. So it'll be, which kind of leads to I've seen some people saying it's like if you deleted it, why would you change the appearance or something like that? And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, let's delete it. Well, if you released it, I guess, why would you change the appearance? But
right.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see, because that dude was definitely a big, scary.
He was a monster-looking
guy
with his cubes.
Monster Mash.
Monster Mash,
like Michael Jackson. But no,
Thriller.
This is Thriller with Steppenwolf. No, so what do you guys think about this? What's your first reaction to the casting of Kieran Hines? Nick, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a great choice. The only thing that I'm kind of worried about, I don't know if they said beforehand if he was going to be CG, but now they're saying he's going to be CG, so I'm a little bit skeptical of that, because I think mostly what people know of Steppenwolf is like him being humanoid. So I was expecting them just to get some 7-foot dude, and just put him in some armor, and
Right. Yeah.
Who knows? Hopefully it looks good. I mean,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I kind of agree with that as well. I was really, really kind of hoping for a more humanoid Steppenwolf and not a big CG guy. But even though we knew, I think Darkseid was probably going to be a CG. CG
well,
character.
I mean,
I was really but I was kind of hoping for Steppenwolf that we would get somebody in the suit. And no offense to Kieran, but he would not be the first person that I think of to just kind of put in the suit, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But Luke, any thoughts on the casting of Kieran?
I think it's cool. I really like him. He was pretty damn good in Game of Thrones, I will say that. I'm kind of just in the same camp of, I was really hoping he would be humanoid, just because I really do like the original designs of the New Gods. I think that they'd be cool to see on screen. I just kind of hope they stay with a more Kirby aspect to it. For God's sakes, I will just say this, please don't make him look like he looked in that thing. I know they said he'd look different, but I'm just worried about Monster Face. I don't want Monster Face. Just don't do that, please.
But, I mean, he's got an axe that he likes to swing around.
He's a big guy.
He's a big guy. For you. Tim, any thoughts on the casting of Kieran Hines?
No.
As Steppenwolf?
Honestly, I haven't watched Game of Thrones, so I don't really know his performance on that. And looking up Kieran Hines' filmography, I've actually seen him in a bit, but he really left no impact on me, so I have no idea what to expect from it personally.
I feel like he was definitely chosen mostly for the voice. He's Northern Irish from Belfast, and he definitely has it's even it depends on what accent he's doing. If he's doing the Northern Irish accent, or even if he's doing a Russian accent, like he was in Sum of All Fears. It's a pretty commanding, booming voice, and especially that's probably what you need for a mocap character.
Right.
So
but outside of that, I was kind of expecting him to be CG just because it kind of fits the general aesthetic the DCEU's gone for so far with their villains, outside of just normal human people. Because you have the guy from Suicide Squad, you have Doomsday.
You had Zod, kind of.
Outside of Zod.
Yeah.
It was CG in that armor.
Feora. And, what was his name? His name wasn't Nappa. Was it
Nappa?
It was Namek.
Namek, like the planet from Dragon Ball Z.
I prefer Nappa.
I remember it was
we'll call him Nappa.
It was something Dragon Ball Z connected, is how I remember that guy's name. It's it had some connection. I was like, the name of Piccolo's home planet escaped me. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm struggling to kind of find another thing we could talk about in the Steppenwolf casting. But we know nothing about how Steppenwolf's going to be used. We know he's going to be the villain. We don't know anything about how how he might appear. We've heard some rumors that, in those plot leaks, I guess, that Steppenwolf is going to be Darkseid's brother.
What?
We have nothing official, nothing officially known. Like, yeah, what?
Wait, you know who could have been a good Steppenwolf if they did like a guy in a suit? Manu Bennett, dude. Get a goatee
Manu
on
Bennett?
him, throw him in some armor.
No goatee, just the mustache, like the mustache from the mugshot. That's what he's got to rock for the rest
there
of
you
his
go.
life.
That would have
He's a
been
big
good.
guy.
That would have been good. I would have liked that.
Well,
Actually,
he's a little short, but I think he could have been cool.
you know what? I would prefer someone too short over someone that's the right size.
Yeah, like Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I would have loved that. Yeah, you should be Granny Goodness. Actually,
So you know what? If I could see anybody, if I could picture one actor in particular swinging an axe around or having an axe that he likes to just swing around, it's Danny DeVito. Like, let's be honest. But no,
those Justice League whores.
Well, they
Just
should have
as-
got Sly, dude.
his character
Sly.
from It's Always Sunny, I think, is just perfect for Steppenwolf. But no, moving on to our next topic that we'll touch on briefly because I feel like we've talked about this a little bit.
A little
it's
too
been
long.
kind of beaten to the ground, and now it's a really interesting story. So The Ringer, if any of you know Bill Simmons from his time writing for ESPN and for Grantland, who's now, I guess, has an HBO show that's just been canceled, but his news site, The Ringer, is kind of like a sports but also pop culture hub. And they released an article about how basically movies are no longer the home of true quality in entertainment, and that's kind of shifted to TV, which, as I said in the Itchin', and I kind of agree with in some cases, but really buried, like halfway down in this article, was a little feature on Bret Easton Ellis, who, of course, is an author who you might know from American Psycho. He's a screenwriter. He's even directed some stuff. He's acted. But he's been around Hollywood generally for the last 30 years. And so in this article, buried deep, like in the middle of this article, in the middle of him talking about how, the film industry is basically no longer the home of quality content, and that kind of has shifted to TV, he drops this little nugget about the Batman movie and says essentially he was having dinner with some executives who know some executives who were working on Batman, and they say the film's script is just a mess, and when they try to fix it, basically they're told really not to worry about it because it's going to make money either way. And I just want to address kind of the hate that we got on that video.
Oh, jeez.
One,
Perfect.
we reported it as a rumor. We reported it as nothing more than a rumor. We were not reporting it as fact. We even put rumor in the goddamn title. And, that's just something I want to get out of my system. It's just a rumor. And in fact, the plot has thickened because since we made that video, Bret Easton Ellis has come out and not denied it or said that he was making shit up, but what he said was, look, I did this interview. It was not about the Batman movie. I didn't even know they were going to use that in the article, and if I did, I wouldn't have said it. He was like, I was just, it was an executive that I talked to who knew an executive. So he acknowledged that it was kind of hearsay. He didn't say it was false, but he said I wouldn't have said it. Probably just I didn't expect to get all this hate and have people calling me a bullshitter. Yeah, unintentional shitstorm. But he kind of kicked this up. I really don't even know. I don't even know if I really want to turn it over to you guys for questions on this. Not because I think we'll proliferate more hate, but just because I don't know what questions I want to ask. It's a rumor, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the only question I'm going to ask. Do you buy it? Do you buy it? What percentage chance would you say this is true if you buy it or if you don't? Whatever. Luke, do you buy this? Are you buying or selling Bret Easton Ellis?
No, I don't buy
Recliner.
this. I don't think this is true.
No. You don't think it's true?
No.
Any particular reason?
I mean, just repeatedly, Ben Affleck has kind of said that he's not even done with the script. So I mean, look, I don't claim to know that much about Hollywood. I know jack shit about the whole film industry thing. But I mean, Ben Affleck just keeps on saying they're not even done. There's not a release date for this movie. I mean, I don't see why this would be real in any shape or form. Maybe if it's a first draft of something, but I mean, I don't know how script writing works for the movies. I don't know if that's a process that goes through constant revision before something, but I just don't think this is true.
See, and that's a good point to make as well. it's probably like what these executives are talking about is probably not even a finished draft of the script. And I think that's another thing that people are just kind of misunderstanding is the fact that it's just, if it's a mess, it's probably just a draft. At this point, the movie is not even anywhere near to production. They haven't even set a production start date. We've got nothing about the movie, and all Ben Affleck says is the script is nowhere near done, which I believe. And I believe that he's not really going to make this movie and move forward with it until he is confident that it's near where he wants it to be. I have that faith in that. And that's another thing that I'm saying is people are treating it like he's out to get DC, and because we're reporting it, we're out to get DC. It's like, no, this guy loved BVS.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if anyone, like a serious critic like Bret Easton Ellis is, somebody that takes film seriously, that was really, really heaping a ton of praise on Batman v Superman. Those guys were few and far between. And for this guy, like, it's not like he's just making this shit, like, up. I mean, I think it was blown out of proportion. No one should have been reporting it as fact. And even himself, like he said in that thing, which he's now kind of recanted and said he regrets saying, it's like, even still, it's like, this is hearsay. This is what someone, he's heard, and it's not like they're going into production. Tim, what do you think about this? Are you buying or selling?
The thing that I buy with this is that I feel that from an executive standpoint, I can understand an executive saying this to him. Just because it is Batman, and Batman will sell regardless, so I can see the laissez-faire attitude that they have with the script with that. But just because the executive says that doesn't necessarily mean that it's true overall.
Absolutely. I mean, thank you guys. You all made excellent points that I was going to make, or hoping that we talked about, or that I kind of wanted to talk about. But we're going to get a change.org petition started for Nick. But no, Tim, that's a great point. There are some executives that think like that. And I think, there are probably more than likely some people out there that really feel that way. Especially the part about 70% of the people watching this movie aren't going to be watching it in English. It's like, cool. Does that mean they don't like good movies? It's like, but there are some people that are just shitty like that don't care about quality and stuff like that. But I don't think Ben Affleck is one of those people. And so I think as long as he's working on it and writing it, I think we're fine. I'm getting just frustrated about this topic. Do you guys mind if we move on?
Yeah, let's go on.
Sure.
Start. TV time. We've got some cool stuff going on. Talia al Ghul will appear in Arrow Season 5, and as someone that has actually not really kept up with Arrow, Nick, do you mind talking a little bit about that?
Yeah, apparently she's going to be in the 10th episode, which I think is the first one after the winter finale, I'm guessing.
Okay.
So it'll be kind of interesting. They said that there's no details on whether she's going to be a villain or what she's pretty much doing in the show, but I think that they introduced Talia on Legends when they went back to the League of Assassins in the 70s or something. So I don't know. I'm wondering how they're going to use her though, because that's the one thing that's kind of boggling my mind right now. But I don't know. Seems kind of cool.
I agree. It's the one thing I will say, I kind of like the inclusion. The one thing I will say is the shameless pilfering of Batman stuff just continues. I'm not saying Talia al Ghul is solely a Batman character, but that's just from the outside looking in. It's you already had the motherfucker fighting Ra's al Ghul shirtless on a mountain, which is literally from a Batman comic. What more are we going to give to Ollie? What would be the next... Actually, that's a fun question. What's the next thing that Ollie is going to get from Batman? What's the next storyline?
Dude, Joker.
Well, we already have Mark Hamill essentially playing an alternate universe version of the Joker in The Flash. Anything else? Tim, any thoughts?
I think that with Talia, if they're going to go through the process of introducing her, it's likely going to be a way to reintroduce the League of Assassins after Nyssa dissolved them.
Absolutely. I think, kind of carrying on her father's work. Very, very clever. Very clever.
Oh shit, what if due to Flashpoint they have a child together and that's how they get Connor Hawke?
Yo, that'd be pretty dope.
Well, we already know Connor Hawke is Diggle's son.
I thought that was like an alternate one.
No, it got changed in Flashpoint to that his daughter's now his son. We talked about this in one of the episodes you were off.
Oh.
How did that happen?
I guess they haven't addressed it on Arrow yet.
They're gonna
Really
do No
not.
Man's Land. That's what they can do for Batman.
Oh yeah,
Arrow.
I don't doubt that. Damn. So Flash keeps on rolling. We keep seeing more stuff with Killer Frost. I believe I must have missed this, but people are saying H.R. Wells met an unceremonious end.
He did. He died, dude.
R.I.P. Man, he was great. What do you guys think about where this Killer Frost storyline's going?
She's getting her own episode when Kevin Smith does it, right?
Oh yeah, is that the one
Yeah.
that his daughter's going to be in?
Yeah, I think so. Oh no, wait. I think his daughter's gonna be in the Supergirl episode.
Oh, is she?
Does she
Yeah, I
sing
think
well?
It's an interesting question. Truly. Oh, is he the one that's going to be directing the musical episode?
No.
Oh, I was going to say. I was like, damn, I did not expect that. But no, so, Flash. The Flash. That Flash. Oh, yeah. He's a... God damn it. Fuck, man. I really don't know what to talk about. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the season from what I've seen. I actually missed this last episode, which is why I have to reference many people are saying that H.R. Wells died.
No,
he didn't die.
He didn't?
No, it was revealed that he was a fraud instead of being a scientist.
Instead of, what was he?
He's a novelist, and he's like the face of Star Labs, but he's not the mind behind it in his universe, and his partner solved the equation to send him there.
Ooh. So he's just... I mean, God damn it. You know what? Let's just move on. Legends of Tomorrow.
I like HR.
You like HR? I do too. Human resources. Very cool. So Legends of Tomorrow. What's going on there? What's traveling
They had
back
a
in
really
time?
topical episode this past week about like when they went to the 1800s, the Civil War and all that. It was like a surprisingly like really like serious episode. I was kind of like taken back because it didn't really have anything to do with their whole mission to stop, the Legion of Doom or anything.
It's just kind of let's take a time out and talk about real shit for a second.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, shit! Like they're going all these places. I'm like, okay.
What real shit were they discussing?
Like all the slavery stuff was in the episode, and plus they had Jax go to like the plantation to like get the secret plans for the Union for.
Of course they did.
Yeah. So.
Who else would you send?
But it was pretty good. I liked it. I mean, like the zombie thing was fun, but it seemed like the other stuff was like the main focus of the episode, I guess.
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see. I don't know. Do you guys know what ratings that show is getting? Like, what are the numbers? Like, I know
it's getting like 1 million.
Damn.
No, I don't know what it's getting.
I was gonna say.
I don't think it's gonna be
gonna
that.
look up so we can discuss. Yeah, no, it's because it's consistently like our lowest review, like our lowest viewed review, and we get those up. Nick does a great job getting those up like really quickly every week. But it's consistently like really like not as well received as any of the other ones. I think even Supergirl seems to have found its footing a little bit quicker. Speaking of Supergirl, how was tonight's episode? I was working on the couch bio and I missed it.
Yeah, Supergirl's great this season.
Yeah. It was a pretty decent new episode.
Was the CW.
Yeah.
Which is it? Fight it out. Debate. Start. Mon-El.
Yeah. They're pushing forward with the Alex being gay thing.
Oh, of course. Yeah. It's the CW. I heard
Alex is the best.
I heard a whisper that there might be something involving Dean Cain coming down the pipe.
Well, Dean Cain plays the dad.
Superman.
Well, I know Dean Cain plays the dad, but I hear a whisper that he might become Cyborg Superman, which would be really great, and I would definitely binge watch it up to that point if that happens.
I think people are theorizing that only because up until this point, like Cadmus has supposedly had Kara's dad this whole time, and the synopsis says like, oh, she goes to investigate Cadmus and then finds out that they have their own Cyborg Superman. So people are like, oh shit, did they make him into Cyborg Superman or some shit?
That would be incredible. Honestly, that would be the best nod if it happens. Luke, any thoughts on the Super Gal?
No.
I have no opinion on this matter.
I have no thoughts one way or the other.
I have no strong opinion. Damn. All right. Well, neither do I. Let's move on to the viewer questions and get that shit show over with. Apologies if you're still with us for that last segment, which I completely butchered. So, moving on to some viewer questions to round out our episode. This first one comes to us from Toxic Blast. Toxic Blast asks, hashtag Superfriends. Not even hashtag Ask Superfriends, dude. But hashtag Superfriends. I appreciate it. What comic book would you make into a good film?
That's a key word. Good film.
It has to be a good film. Damn, I wanted to make a comic book into a bad film.
The Booster Gold film starring Greg Berlanti. No. Good film. Nick, what would you choose to make Cape Kino?
I know this is a DC podcast, but I would like to see Daredevil Born Again.
Ooh.
Possibly.
Intriguing. I would go with that. Who would you cast as Daredevil, or would you keep Charlie Cox?
I like Ben Affleck. Yeah, it was great.
Did Ben Affleck back in the leather suit with the glasses. John Favreau returns.
Waking up inside.
Spotty. Yes.
Yes.
So does Evanescence. Evanescence comes back too. It's great.
This is their reunion piece.
Yeah. Tim, Cape Kino, do your thing.
What comic book would I make into a film?
A good
yeah,
film.
I know. A good film. I don't know. That makes it harder.
Yeah.
And let's continue the streak. Judas Contract.
Judas Contract, yeah. It doesn't specify animated or not, so who knows? It might happen. Luke, what comic book would you make into?
This is hard, actually. I have to think of a good one.
Swampy.
Make it one of the 3 films that's going to come out before Justice League Dark.
I would...
Whenever they get around to making it.
I think I would go a harder route. If I was in charge, I would do a Doom Patrol movie as Cape Kino.
Ooh. I think that could happen. Maybe not as Cape Kino, but I feel like a Doom Patrol
I think
movie
it should be, actually,
good.
though. Just a movie that's just different from everything else. Just doesn't try to fit into the mold
that
that all these
Sandman
other...
movie.
Yeah, except,
That's
actually
had no
happens.
production problems.
Yeah.
That lost its screenwriter recently.
Lost its second screenwriter recently.
Yeah.
Damn.
Is it even its second? I know it's more than one.
No, it's the third, actually.
Damn. All right.
Sandman Dead in the Water.
What comic book would I make into a good film? I mean, my gut film is just to take Grayson, because I feel like Grayson was really great. But I don't know if I could make that Cape Kino. I love it. I just don't know if it would translate completely well, because I feel like there's a lot of subtext there. The current Nightwing run is pretty great. Damn, it's tough. I don't know if I'm sticking with DC, which I kind of want to do. I don't have a lot of options. This is gonna get me shit, but I would love to take Tom King's Vision run. Tom King, of course, of Batman fame, but his Vision run, I think, is stellar. I highly recommend.
I gotta say my DC book, because I said a Marvel one, actually.
Go ahead.
My DC book that I would turn into a great film is All-Star Batman and Robin: The Boy Wonder.
Ooh.
The Frank Miller.
Could definitely.
Damn you and your lemonade.
I would love to see that into a great film, translated.
You could do that.
I would probably see that.
If we can do Marvel options, then I do Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run.
Yes.
Shit. Who
Moving on.
Yeah. Just
Moving on.
Stop yourself. Our next question comes to us from Scottaplayer, a pop cult fan. I'm assuming that's pop culture. I've always wondered that, dude. Is it supposed to be pop culture? Let me know in the comment section down below. I actually have looked at your name and thought that before. I have a viewer question about how you record your podcasts. Are you guys talk together in one room talking to each other with microphones? In our minds, maybe. How do you guys record your podcasts, and where do you record them? So,
we're all in the same room right now, actually.
I wish. We're not actually in the same room, unfortunately. We are still kind of spread across the country. Little HN story time very briefly. Me and Josh were neighbors, and he's asked me to join the channel back in like 2011. Everybody else has kind of come on since then. Nick first, and our first batch of people that we actually ever hired. And everybody else kind of everybody else kind of came all at once, I think, except for Michael. I think Michael was our latest addition of all the people we have now. But yeah, so it kind of has come together, but we're not yet at the point. Hopefully one day we'll all be in the same room.
We got to get an office space.
We will. In Reno. No. How do you guys record your podcasts? With microphones and Audacity. I think we all do Audacity. Tim, are you still doing like Audition?
No, I use GarageBand right now.
That's right. I knew somebody was doing something else. Tim uses GarageBand. Then we all email them to Nick, and he edits them. For now, you know how the sausage is
and
made.
we talk over Skype. If you're wondering how we're hearing each other,
we talk over Skype.
There we go. We're not
we're
using
not just
telepathy. We're using
we're
paper.
not just talking to Audacity.
We're using paper cups attached by strings. That's how we.
No, Nick's right. We all are just talking into Audacity, and it somehow just always works out.
Hoping someone will say the right thing.
That TV time segment was actually like just that's explained because it's not working out. Like that's when we're all like
few cross wires on that one.
Ian Jackson asks at Ask Superfriends. We're getting like all across the spectrum of things that are not actually. But I don't care. I love you guys. New and random DC characters you want to see appear in the DC CW universe. Oh. I was like, DCCW. I've never seen somebody use that abbreviation.
DCCW.
DCCW instead of DCTV. New and random DC characters.
Amazing Man.
If I say the question, does he not get it like an HBO miniseries?
Probably.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Don't say the question. He'll be watered down.
I won't say the question. Instead, I'm going to say the Phantom Stranger. I would love to see the Phantom Stranger show up. Tim.
Amazing Man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the right choice.
Stealing that shit? You gonna steal that answer, Luke?
No, I was just saying that's the only choice.
That's well.
But here's another one, just in case.
Yeah, but here's another one. Just here's.
Catman. I would say Catman.
Actually, that'd be pretty cool.
Nick? Oh, me? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, my first choice has always been Plastic Man, but
yeah.
if not, then I would love to see Static, actually. I know that they were doing a Black Lightning on Fox, which is a shame because I was hoping that it would be on CW.
Yeah,
but
me
I
too.
would love to see Static in the CW verse.
I'd love to see Static is a good option. I think Wildcat could also be a great. I feel like
we already saw him in the CW verse.
He got beaten up and he's fine now.
He got beat up and then he got written off the show.
He's fine now.
I've been in like the Twilight Zone for like 3 or 4 years. Don't mind me. Waru, our boy Waru, asks #AskSuperFriends. Yes. With the recent rumors about Swamp Thing and the Batman /TMNT animated features last month, do you guys want the Batman /TMNT crossover and Swamp Thing to be animated movies? Now, Tim, I'm going to let you answer the Batman /TMNT half of this because you're actually reviewing that comic this week.
Well, it's a comic based on a different thing. The one that's going to be the animated movie, I think, is based off of like the crossover between the IDW comic and the mainline Batman. But but for the animated film, I'd be fine with it. It'd be cool to see that. I'm wondering how like licensing would work on that with Nickelodeon and Warner Brothers.
It would be interesting for sure. I don't think it would actually work out that well.
It would print
Luke,
money.
It would print money. Luke, would you want... I guess, because to me, I think a Batman TMNT crossover could work. It would just require some cooperation. Swamp Thing animated feature, I'm down for.
I would be down for that, yes. They probably wouldn't do the Alan Moore stuff. I think that'd be too much for an animated movie. So
That's
I think,
the movie.
I mean, that would be like the main movie, but I mean, for like an animated thing, I could see that definitely, yeah.
Yeah. I'd be down for it. Nick.
I love Batman and TMNT.
You would love it. You would watch that.
Do you actually?
I want to see the movie.
You would go to the Fandango Fathom events one night only.
I'll be the only
That's
one.
like the one time I've ever heard Nick say he loved something.
I think you heard him say it ironically, too, which is...
But I mean, I'll take it.
Speaking on the subject of crossovers, though, I really wish that Marvel would do some, because I really want to see Boom Studios Power Rangers crossover with X-Men 92.
That'd be pretty
great. Cool, actually.
Oh, my God. All right, moving on to our last question from Pineapple Fantasy. Pineapple Apple Pen Fantasy.
Pineapple.
PPAP. Hashtag Ask Superfriends. That's 2 in a row, baby. Who is your favorite DC villain or anti-hero, and do you think they could hold up their own standalone movie? This is an interesting question.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you choose DC, like villain or anti-hero before you start. Nick, favorite DC villain or anti-hero, and do you think they could hold up their own solo film?
I've always been partial to Two-Face, and
Ooh.
not sure about a movie with him. Maybe as a supporting character, but
Yeah, I feel like he'd be a great villain, especially this Telltale Batman game has really shown off. Like, I think he could be a solid villain for a movie if they wanted to do more than just what Aaron Eckhart did in Dark Knight. Which in and
I
of
love
itself is
Aaron
pretty
Eckhart.
good. Oh, he's the man. Luke, I was trying to say like he's a boss and he's the man, and I was about to say, oh, he's a man. Luke. Just fueling the fire in the comment section.
He has a penis.
Biologically. Did you just
my
assume
God.
his fucking gender? No? Okay, fine. We're gonna skip
no
that.
Violet. No Violet.
So, Luke, who's your favorite DC villain?
Or anti-hero. Nick is dying off to the side. Luke.
It's hard. It's
Who is
either, you know what, Sinestro, and I think, yes, he probably could hold his own movie, I think.
Sinestro, the teenage years. Tim.
Mine's Lex Luthor, not the one that we have now, and probably if they did like the comic version, like with his Action Comics run, that would probably work fine.
That'd be interesting. Favorite DC villain? Oh, this is tough. I like a lot of them.
Very
Lex
good.
Luthor is one of my favorites as well. I want to choose an anti-hero, though, because you guys didn't really do that. That's even tougher. Anti-hero...
Red.
Damn. I
Do
feel like Red
Red
Hood
Hood,
definitely
dude.
could probably do his own thing. He's not my favorite, but I'll say like Red Hood could do it. He's really not my favorite,
He's
but
definitely
he could do
not my favorite.
it. Damn. Yeah, that's tough. I'm just going to say Red Hood is the cop-out, kind of in this Pineapple Fantasy. Thanks for your question. I'm sorry for half-assing my answer. I hope the other guys did you justice. Speaking of justice, no, we're not. We have no more topics to talk about. That's it.
We're done.
I want to do the Ferris Bueller thing. It's like, you're still here? Go home. But no. I love the...
We would
if
need
anybody's
credits
still
for
listening.
that. And they would only
Well, we
be
can do
it would only be
credits.
like 4 names.
We can insert credits.
That seems
I'll
like a lot.
contact
For
our
everyone
editor.
who
That seems like a
watches
lot
our
of work on Nick's
podcast.
part. And I feel like
Do
Nick's
credits.
currently dying right now, so he wouldn't even be
It
able
would
to
be
hear
the
this.
shortest credit sequence ever. Shortest credit sequence ever. But no, that wraps it up for this week's Super Friends podcast. Of course, if you want your question to be talked about on the podcast, please just hit us up either on Twitter at @HybridNetwork_, or more likely in the comment section of this video. Use the hashtag AskSuperFriends so we can find your question really easily. Wow. Odds are we'll answer it. I think we've only had like one episode where we had one episode where I think we didn't... Well, we've had more than one episode where we didn't have time. But if we answer questions, like, odds are we're going to answer your question. I think we had one where we couldn't get to everyone's question. But,
Yeah.
no, we'll probably answer your question. We love you guys. Thank you so much if you're still listening. Don't forget to smash that like if you like what you heard. Nick, see, I didn't do the thing. Subscribe for more great content every single day, and this podcast every single week. That 4-week hiatus was... nothing. It didn't exist. We're retconning that. Anything else you guys want to say? Anything?
No.
Stop disliking.
Stop. We love you. Why don't you love us?
Yeah.
Okay. That's,
Why don't you
that
accept
4-month
us?
period is going to be resolved in our maxi series following the events.
yes. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course. But yes, that brings us to the end of episode 55 of the Super Friends podcast. Thank you so much for watching / listening. I guess if you stared at the screen for 55 minutes now, you watched. I am your
Every
host for this
time.
episode, at least, CJ. I was about to say CJ Pascal, but no, I'm your host, CJ, here with series regulars Nick, Luke, and Tim. I promoted you in 54 minutes.
serial regulars.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for enjoying this experience with us. We will see you next week.